everyone. This is Val with Dragonfly Crystals, and I'm so excited to have Colleen Pearl, the cool crone, on.
Hi, everybody.
I
Hi,
waited for this. Oh my gosh. I am thank you for coming on my channel and letting me interview you.
Well,
Because
I feel so honored. I mean, I'm following up Linda G. So,
listen, you two are powerhouses, and I am so excited to have both of you on the same day. I feel like I've gone to Disneyland. So,
it's great.
so I just want to talk a little bit about, before we go on with your interview process, what do you have on your channel that's coming up that people might want to go and like and subscribe? Of course, join the Cool Crone, because I am also a member. So you'll want to join.
Yeah. You'll all want to join. All the cool kids will want to join.
All the cool kids do.
So I do have a few fun things coming up on my channel. We have, let's see, what's today? This is today. We have a Reveal the Future this week. Our topic is we are going to be sending positive energy, and we are going to be visualizing positive things for the state of Texas. So we're gonna reach out and get some things squared away there for Texas, because they really need help. Bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. That is going to be a profound thing. And you know, when you send energy to places that really, really need it, it makes a huge shift. It can really lighten that energy up. So everyone who out there, please tune in for this. It's going to be tremendously important. So
yeah,
and for doing this, Colleen. Thank you for coming up with Reveal the Future and spending the time to create the meditations and the visualizations that are beautiful and powerful.
Oh, thank you. I love doing meditations. I just love doing them. I love meditating. I sometimes don't get to do as long of a meditation as I would like to do, just personally in my own practice. Sometimes I'm rushed, but I find that it's really important for everybody to meditate. I think it's the one thing that everybody, you can say universally, that everybody needs to find a way to meditate. It doesn't have to be sitting in the lotus position and contemplating your navel. You can meditate doing lots of different things. You can walk and meditate. You can play with your animals and meditate. You can take a bath. You can walk in, if you, like, I work in a big high-rise office building, but my place is on the first floor, and the lobby of that building is very contemplative. It's hardly populated. You just a few people walking through, but I can walk, I think it's over a quarter mile if I do a whole circuit of that first floor of the building. And that's a lot of times my meditation is just walking and letting it happen.
That's a beautiful way to meditate as you're walking along in that kind of setting. Yeah. So, that's a beautiful example of wherever you're at, even at work, you can take some time to get in that quiet space or that zone. Yeah. I love that. And shift it.
Yeah, shift your energy. It's just so important. So we have Reveal the Future. We also have on Friday, the 29th, we're going to have a polyterology with guests, but it's turning out to be a lot of the gang. I don't have my microphone over here. I'm sorry. Do I sound like I was in the bathroom?
Well, now this is better.
Yeah, sorry about that. I always forget. I push it out of the way when I'm sitting here. I forgot, on Thursday, I'm going to be, along with my sister, we're going to be on Marina's channel. But I'm very excited about a new show coming up that we just dreamed up. And this is called The Real Psychics of YouTube. And I'm gonna probably put the trailer out, probably as a short, because it's less than a minute, the trailer, just to give people, the idea of the show. And the first one is going to be in April on Saturday the 20th. But I'm really excited about it. It's when we meet to do the show, uh, we will be doing the readings spontaneously. We're not going to take questions from people. We're going to give general readings. And they might not be so general. They might really hit a few people really, really definitively. So I'm hoping that that's something that people will tune in for, because we have this ability to not only connect to our guides, but I think our guides connect to other people's guides.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
think this whole cycle of everything happening is very exciting. And rather than, here's the thing too, is that when people will ask me about really mundane things, and this is not a judgment, I'm just saying, yeah, you're worried about, am I going to get the raise, or is my daughter going to graduate from college, or whatever. And there are bigger things in your life that will help you, one, feel better and less anxiety about whether you get the raise or your daughter graduates from college, and two, it raises up your own vibration in general, which raises the vibration of everyone around you. And that cycle, I think, is so important for everybody to embrace.
I love that. And what you're saying is so important and should not be overlooked. That if you pull away from the microcosm, those little details that come up in someone's life, the daughter graduating, something that happened at work or whatever it may be, car problems, whatever, but you pull out a little bit so that you get a different perspective. And when you connect, like through meditation, as you said, that place of awareness that you go to, that place of stillness, you definitely come to a better overall connection with your soul and your higher self and all of your guides, so that whatever is going on in your life, those are just passing things, and you can stay neutral while your life is happening.
Yeah.
And because every time you go out of the center and you attach, you're becoming really attached to that and pulled out of center, pulled out of center, pulled out of center.
Right.
Yeah, it takes a lot of your energy.
Yep.
And it doesn't get you to that full awakening process we're all trying to get to.
Yeah, and attach is a really good word to use with it, because you also get attached to an outcome.
Yes.
And then you don't get the outcome you want, and then you're disappointed, or you're really upset, or you feel devastated. Those kinds of emotions just drain away your vibes. They just lower you and put you in a place where, who can get you out of it? Well, you are responsible for your own spiritual hygiene, your own emotional hygiene. My doctor used to tell me, you have to practice good sleep hygiene, Colleen, and just put yourself to bed. And I'm like, oh, like be my own mommy? And he's like, yeah, exactly. You just have to take care of yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like waiting for my mommy to put me to bed. How ridiculous. Of course I'm going to start putting myself to bed. But when you are more centered and you are more in touch with that higher vibe, you actually feel better. Your health improves too.
And then your sleep improves too, probably.
Yes, your sleep improves too. Yeah. So there's lots of benefits to it. And by the way, your daughter graduating from college is not your job. I mean,
thank you very much for boundaries.
Yeah. I mean, your daughter graduating from college is her choice and her job and her duty to herself, or not. I mean, her choices, whatever takes her on her path, maybe there's something better, if you can imagine this, maybe there's something better for her than graduating from college and spending all that money there. I mean,
you aren't, how can you say you're not in their shoes living their life, right?
Yeah,
even as a parent, right?
Yeah. So again, being attached to those outcomes is just as wasteful as those emotions like
Yeah.
disappointment and jealousy and
Yeah.
guilt and embarrassment or shame. Those, I say this every month in my full moon videos, that the full and the new moons are great times to get in touch with those things and let them go. Nobody ever benefited from you being disappointed. No, but including you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and absolutely you don't, because
Yeah,
it's it's just an ego-based emotion that's going to go nowhere, but make you feel bad and drag your energy down.
yeah. And you
So
could use
yeah,
your energy for so many other things. Like think of all the love you
yeah,
could, pour over your cat or your daughter or your
yeah,
partner or, yourself. If you
yeah,
have the energy to put that love and devotion somewhere, do that, because that's going to get more love and more high vibe feelings, and you're gonna just be better. It's just
yeah. Because isn't it true that that everything multiplies? If you're in that energy and you're putting more focus on it, it multiplies, whether it's this kind of energy or that kind of
that,
energy.
well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So,
And I see people with, like, I think it was a few nights ago, we were doing a show and doing some questions for people. And I said to the person, you need it, one card reading is not going to get rid of your fear.
mhm.
That's a task. That's an
I
exercise, and I referred that person to Louise Hay's seminars that are free on YouTube. Louise Hay, by the way, everybody, promotes and has methods of helping you understand all these things that we're talking about. So it isn't that you have to like take notes on everything that we're saying.
It's really true. And Louise Hay, I have listened to so many of Louise Hay's talks.
Yeah.
And believe me, she's done affirmations, subliminal think, whatever you want. It's out there for any single thing you want to look at and need help with. And there's a lot of it out there that's free.
Well,
And
she put it in her will that all of her materials that were sanctioned by her or Hay House
yeah,
had to
hey,
be made free upon her death. So if
yeah.
somebody's charging you for that, no, just go to the next source. And
I
it's
was watching it
free.
all when she was still alive, but
Me too. I was buying the CDs. I
I
had them
was
playing in
I
my car.
have so many Hay House things that I should have stock in Hay House.
Yeah, right. That would be
But
good.
yeah, I mean, her things were beautifully structured about how you perceive yourself and how you are innately worthy. Starting from that basis, all else will flow. And so that work, like you talked about the mirror work, this is
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I,
somebody said in the chat here, I'll put it, well, I can't put it up, but it's
what was it?
Cookie at
I'll put it.
7-Eleven. I've been clearing negative energy since I last saw you on YouTube. I think though that I think she's on your channel.
I got her. Yeah,
Yeah.
cookie.
Um, thanks for that, Reed. It helped and I'm still clearing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really a good thing to do. And that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that like every single thing in your life that's you know 3D based is negative. I mean, we live in a 3D world. We have to pay the mortgage or the rent. We have to go to work. Usually, most of us, we have to pay bills. We raise our kids. We have to deal with all that stuff of them, going through adolescence and teenagers and young adulthood. I mean, there is a lot of 3D stuff that we have to deal with that isn't fun necessarily, but the more that you can not have an outcome about that and not be attached to the outcome and just
Yeah.
allow everybody to do their own path. And that doesn't mean just let your kids run wild. I'm not saying that either. So don't twist it up. Those of you who are listening.
Heading you off in the pass because don't go crazy. We're talking about 18-year-olds who know how to choose their own life. And well, even 17-year-olds know the direction they might want to go in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about, you can't really, as much as you love your children, you really need to let them embrace their life and empower them to be the choosers of what they are bringing forward with empowerment. You stand behind them and be there for them, but don't, create a way that they're going to walk and say, this is the way I want you to walk. No,
because
let them
for
walk.
one thing, they won't want to do it usually, and they'll deny that. And for another, if you get all twisted up in their choices in their lives, then you're not living your own life, and you're not letting them live their own life. So
Yeah.
it's not very helpful. So anyway, so that's what I have to say about that. So
I love that. And this is Book is asking, Colleen, can you talk a bit about the other show you were doing, The Changing of Reality? That's
Reveal the Future.
Reveal the Future.
Yeah. So I conceived this show out of trying to do monthly meditations that didn't really take off with the world, because I was writing a meditation that was not just for me. I thought it was for everybody, and I do like writing meditations, but it just kind of like fell off the radar. But I love doing meditations, and I also really really believe in creative visualization. I am a big fan of Shakti Gawain. I started doing her as soon as her tapes and book came out in the, was it already the 70s or was the late 60s? I can't remember. But anyway, whenever it was first out, I bought it and I had it. And I have repurchased her book, her original book, Creative Visualization. And also at that time, it was a cassette tape. I bought it many times because it's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of visualization is that you visualize things. This was before people were talking about the law of attraction, but you visualize things that you want to have happen, really for the most benevolent outcome, for the highest good of all. So that really resonated with me, and I used to do that all the time. And I also read stuff about positive thinking and things like that. But the thing for me was every night I put on that tape and I went to sleep listening to her telling me to visualize what I wanted and putting it in a bubble and watching it float away to the universe, letting it go. In other words, not attaching to the outcome, so that the universe could bring back to me whatever I needed in whatever form the universe wanted.
Whatever your highest good is. No matter what you were asking for, it's this and or better for my highest good.
Or something better. Yeah.
Or something better. That's what my mother taught me.
Yeah. Well,
something better.
Yeah. That was the phrase back then. And that was really powerful. So what the show is about is I get a couple of psychics together and we pick a topic and we discuss what would it be like if it were not bad, if it were perfect. Like we talked about healthcare. What would it be like if you didn't have to fiddle around with ID cards and co-pays and getting an appointment? And, what if it was just easy to get healthcare? And what if healthcare was more geared towards preventive care, for maintaining a healthy body through diet, through lifestyle? What would that be like? And we even went so far as to imagine, what would we do in our country specifically with all the money that we saved if we didn't have to administer these ridiculous insurance companies? What would that be like?
Yeah.
And so we all had our own 2 cents worth that we put into that. And it was a very quick conversation. It was about a 10-minute conversation with everybody who was on the screen. And then I just had everybody sit back and relax. And I walked us through basically a meditation, but incorporated into that meditation, visualizing the most perfect world for your health.
Love it.
And it was nice. And it didn't take a long time. These shows are pretty short. I mean, the longest one was the meditation we did on Ukraine last time. because I wrote something that was, I used a meditation that I had done when the war started. Actually, 2 years ago, I had written what I thought was a pretty powerful meditation, and I reworked that with Val's help. Actually, thank you so much for your help, because all of your words were used in the resulting meditation. And I feel that when people do a group visualization and a group meditation, it's so powerful. It doesn't just affect us who are doing it, but it goes out and resonates with the world. I mean, monks do this routinely because they want to help the world. Many different cloistered religious organizations do it, not just monks, but um, many in World War II, there was a group of witches that routinely did this to influence the outcome of World War II, and it worked. So, so visualizing very, very positive outcomes as a group is super, super powerful. And because we're on the verge of so many people having woken up and so many people wanting to help, wanting to be of service to literally mankind, focusing that energy and bringing it into a common flow is just uber powerful.
It is uber powerful. And that I just want to mention that energy is real. It's something that is a force, a magnetic force. It's physics. It's out there. It's like the etheric web. Everything you do or say is energy, and it's transmitting out. And so that it's just like Dr. I think his name was
The Japanese.
Oto, whatever, the way of water, where
Yes, I was just thinking that.
they were sitting, they would gather together and there'd be a cesspool of water and they would visualize it, send it love, and of course it would clear out X amount of times later. This is just proof that energy is real, but it is also, there are many other ways to prove it's real. Physics proves it's real. Even as you watch something, a quark or a molecule, and you're all expecting something different to happen, as one person is watching the experiment, it shifts and doesn't do the same thing that the other person saw it do, because everybody's expectation is different. So you will, as a human being, a spiritual being in a human body, you have the power to visualize and shift the energy. This is a scientific and profound thing that is true. So as we send light out all around the world, we are shifting and changing things. It is a real thing. It is a profound thing. It cannot be denied.
No. And I put in the chat link to
Dr. Masura Emoto.
Yeah, Emoto. That work is just, I go back and look at it every once in a while because it's so simple when you're watching the water molecules, excuse me. It's so simple but so profound. And that's the way the whole universe is. It's simple but it's profound. And that in itself will keep you humble. So all these things that are saying you're special, you're divine, you have a spark of the divine within you, you're connected to the divinity, you're connected to it. And some people that are not involved with this might think, well, boy, they're really thinking they're all that in a cup of tea, as Linda G would say.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, when you look at, when you stand in front of the ocean and you go, wow, in the universe, I'm like a drop of water in the ocean.
Yes.
I am very, very not only insignificant, but also a part of that. And also powerful because I'm a part of that. So you can be both. You don't have to go all the way into, I'm so insignificant or I'm so powerful. You have to blend. And I think, that's another lesson, that's just another thing that
it is. There's so many layers to all of this, including being in your heart center and connecting to everything like they do with the water thing with Dr. Emoto. Because, you know, when you're in your heart center, what you send out and what you connect to is going to have a very high vibration. And have you seen the experiment using rice? No.
No, I haven't seen that.
But I think what's really important is that you are taking action, because it's one thing to have the thought and it's one thing to have, I visualize this, but you're taking another step further to gather a group together, to put it on a platform and to broadcast it out into the ethers. And even if only 500 people are doing it and watching it, that is times 10 times thousands and thousands and thousands of people this will reach in terms of energetic connection.
Yeah, because even on the replays, people are watching it and making use of it. So that's really, really important.
Yeah.
So that whoever asked me to talk about that, I hope that
it was a book.
I
hope
that gave you some.
When will it be on again? She says. Can I?
This week, this Wednesday at 7:00 on my channel, or any of the people who are going to be on it with me, which I think Val is going to be on it, so you can watch it from her channels, or Cleo the Seer, or Sherry from Voices of the Swamp, or Arthur Psychic Ease Your Mind. So we're all going to be simulcasting it, and so it'll be good. And Arthur sent me some beautiful music to go underneath it. So
nice.
Very excited.
Book wants to know if any of the community can send ideas for.
Sure. If you want to send that to me via email to coolcrone444@gmail.com, I probably would capture it a little better than if you just put it in the chat, because I don't write the visualizations before I do them. I decide on which basic format I'm going to use, because I have a couple of different ways that I go through relaxation, and then I have a bunch of different ideas that kind of pop into my head about how I'm going to use that information to create a journey, because I think taking it on a journey is a good thing. Yeah, it takes you out of yourself. Yeah,
that is really true. And that's where you want to be when you're doing this powerful work. So Book is asking, is your email available? And I'm just going to type it in here. Is it
cool? You want me to do it? I'll do it. That's okay.
Cool.
There we go.
Great. And let's see. Yeah. There's some people in here who have their own groups, and even if their group is only 10 people, that is ultra powerful. It doesn't matter where 2 people are doing something like this or more, it's going to be accelerated. And can you imagine when you call in angelic help and help from the higher beings, higher meaning more high vibrational. They're not higher than us in any other sense, but we are all one. We're all one being. But it will go out there like crazy. But anyway, this is an interview of Crone, and I'm going to go on to the next question, which I don't know if I even asked a question yet.
No,
we just got on the energy thing. All we were doing is introducing what you had coming up.
Yeah.
But, okay. So I just want to take this moment to thank the Cool Crone for coming on my channel, because I am a Cool Crone fan and a member of the Cool Crone. What are you? The Coven?
Coven, yeah.
The Coven. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you, Colleen, back in your childhood, when you started to really feel the sense of who you were, did you always feel that pull to mystical things or to things that were beyond our understanding.
Yeah.
Reading.
Yeah. I was fortunate to be born into a family where everybody in the family was psychic in a little bit different way.
Mm-hmm.
So we had my parents who never talked about it, but boy, were they psychic. They dreamed into being things that they wanted to do. They talked about their dreams, but that's about all they talked about. But I would notice that their dream to me, because I got into astrology when I was very young. So symbols have always been really important to me. So listening to them talk about their dreams, I was picking up on the symbology that they were putting out in their dreams. So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
My sister, of course, is on YouTube with me now and has her own channel, and she's a psychic medium. And my brother Pat is pretty psychic. Um, he has a funny relationship with his abilities, but he's, that's my brother. He's
doing his own thing with it.
my brother it's been obvious to me and my sister that my brother is from literally another planet.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, he's really he is an Aquarius. He's always been fascinated with galactics, and it's clear to us that he just is one.
Yeah,
That's
I bet he is.
And he was shocked when both of us told him the same thing. He goes, "That's just what she said," And I'm like, "Well, duh." That's because it's kind of like when somebody comes out when they're gay, and you go, "Well, yeah, I always knew that."
Yeah, exactly. Right?
It was the same kind of thing. And then my oldest brother actually made his living as a seer. And he's quite a bit older than me. He's passed now, but he was making his living as a seer. So everybody in the whole family was kind of off their rockers a little bit. And my oldest brother, as I said, was 10 years older than me. And when I was about 6 or 7, I must have been at least 7 because he would have been 17, 18. He got a job with no, I must have been a little bit older, maybe 9 or 10. He got a job with Air India, and he started taking regular trips to India because he was fascinated by India. And he started sending me things, like posters of Ganesh and Krishna and all the different Hindu gods and goddesses. And so my bedroom walls were just covered with these.
Oh my gosh, you had all that energy.
You know anything about Hindus, you know that they really believe that every statue, every picture, every representation of the god is a piece of the god, has the god within it, just as we have divinity within us. Yes. So yes, extremely powerful. And to this day, I resonate a lot with that. In fact, my second husband was a practicing Hindu, so I went to a temple for 10 years. But as a child, I really thought that stuff was cool. And my friends, were, I don't know if they were scared of it or they just thought it was weird or creepy or whatever. But I was like, I don't care. They're beautiful, beautiful pictures. And I'm not taking them down because you're uncomfortable, but whatever. And I also had an experience when I was quite young with clouds. I was always walking around because I had to, walk to the bus and come home, and we played outside. And that's in the days when, you just throw kids outside and they would play all the time. Yeah. And I remember seeing a hand come out of the clouds and beckon me when I was about 6 or 7 years old.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I'm coming, and I knew it didn't mean death.
Yeah.
Never anything like that. It was God or my higher self,
the
or
connection,
angels or something, and I my family wasn't particularly religious, so I wasn't like, ooh, Jesus, beckoned to me. No, nothing like that. If anything, I would have been thinking, look, it's Ganesh and he's beckoning to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I would have thought. But I just saw this hand, beckoning to me, and it was a cloud hand, like the ones on the tarot cards.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, right.
it was just like that. And when I saw tarot cards, I was like, oh, I've seen this before. So again, these symbols just really just like made sense to me.
Yeah.
All the symbols just made sense to me. So there was that. And then when I finally learned how to read, I wanted to read the horoscopes in the newspapers. That was the first thing I wanted to read. And that was the first thing that I said, well, this got to be bullshit, because you can't have every person in the world who's born under the sign of Aries have the same experience every day or every week. That just can't be.
That doesn't make sense.
So I immediately I had to study that. So my brother again came to the rescue, helped me get books and helped me get started with it. And he was so accommodating. His first girlfriend that he brought home from college for Christmas was an astrologer. So she worked with me a little bit. And then he ended up marrying another woman who was also an astrologer. And she actually gave me lessons and helped me learn how to throw charts. And, you know, even before I studied with her, I had obtained enough knowledge that I could throw a rough chart and I could do readings for people. And I was like 10. And, and people are like, you're going to give me a reading? And I said, well, I mean, I'm doing it for free. So why don't you just let me do it? And then you decide if it's good or not. What do you got to lose, buddy? I'm not charging you. And every time I did it, people came back later and went, how did you know that? How did you get that? So I don't know if I was really kind of like scrying or channeling into.
You were probably, yes. All of your gifts were being utilized. You don't get, oh, I'm just going to call out this gift and use it here. No, you're.
As a child, you have no filter, right? So
you're just using it all.
Yeah. So I think it was more than I really like understood every little nuance of
you didn't even have to.
10.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just
clearly a lot of past life stuff coming forward,
Yeah.
but also I think that was just another gift. It was just like, because if I really zone out on symbols, I get a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I get with the cards too, those symbols. So the symbols have always kind of spoken,
like a trigger. Well, yeah, and symbols really, I have to say, there's a lot that symbols have to say. There's a lot of depth and meaning in symbols, and it's kind of different for everyone as they're staring at something and getting something from it.
Yeah.
I love symbols myself, and work with symbols. Like sacred geometry. And I always found myself drawing things like the spiral over and over. I draw spirals, or I draw the way energy comes down and what it might translate into as it's hitting our atmosphere, and for each individual person. And for I was always reading energy as it's coming in, as we come into our situation. So what was the next thing that drew your attention as a young person after astrology? What were you drawn to?
I started to, somehow I got it in my mind that I was a witch. And again, I think that's kind of
I don't think you got it in your mind.
No, I think it's a past life thing. So I had this witchy thing going on. So while I was also hitting up my mom for money for astrology books, I was also hitting her up for books about witches, which in the mid 60s, there weren't very many, there just wasn't a lot around. So I did get my hands on some, like I have I think I still have this one, the Gypsy book of fortune telling, and then I have like Zolar's book of forbidden knowledge. And that one, it's weird, that one got destroyed in a flood, and somebody gave me an old copy of it to replace it, and I was like, well, something I got to see in that book.
It came back to you in another way.
Yeah, it came back to me. Yeah, so I had
you got it. That's
yeah, and then some of the scarier witch things that were out there in the 60s that most people thought were very evil, I just ate them up. I just read them, and it just made so much sense to me. And, I noticed that some of my friends' parents were like, yeah, you shouldn't be hanging out with that girl. And I was like, but what?
Yeah, anybody who knows you you have a heart of gold, first of all. Let's just say that.
Oh, thank you.
Come on. That'd be ridiculous. That's just parents and their bias.
Yeah, there
So,
was so
yeah.
much bias, and so I read pretty early on. I think it wasn't Madame Blavatsky. It was an American witch,
Mm,
lady. She goes by Lady Shiva, and I read her stuff, and she was like, "This is why we keep things secret." Because
yes.
you don't want people to put you down. You don't want people to tell you that you're wrong or bad or whatever, but this is why you keep things secret. And one of the more glorious things that I find about getting older is that in the last, I'm going to say 20 years, 20 years, because 20 years ago would have been 2003.
Mhm.
But this is, I think, when we finally started breaking through that shell that it's no longer necessary to keep these things secret. In fact, we need to bring them out.
We are there. Yeah,
one of one of
absolutely.
my sort of political um, missions is to
Mhm.
get people to accept the word witch into
Yeah,
normal everyday vernacular,
right.
and to not shy away from it or not be embarrassed to say it, or to, because all these people on YouTube who are doing this stuff, they're all witches. They're all witches. They're meditating, they're wishing things into being, they're using their intention, they're observing the Sabbats, the changing of the wheel of the year. They're making their own tinctures, their own oils,
We
their own
just don't know that's what it's called, but we all do all these things. And I think we talked about this before.
yeah,
It is definitely something every single person on the planet, I don't, bar none, pretty much, there's something you're doing that is pagan or that is, whatever. We
yeah,
all do them. We
yeah,
do candle things. We do,
yeah.
come on, we do everything.
I mean,
So,
actually, a birthday cake with candles on it is a spell. You're wishing good things for that person
yeah.
on their solar return.
It's just how you are viewing it. What lens are you viewing it from?
Yeah,
So you're either viewing it from like a complete skeptic and what the hell's wrong with them, or a metaphysical eye, or a witch eye, or however you're looking through it.
but I gotta
It's the
tell you,
same.
if
Yeah.
Dr. Emoto were still alive and
Yeah.
I could sit down and have a conversation with him, I don't think there'd be very much we disagree with. I bet I'd learn
No.
a lot from him, but
Yes. I
I
agree.
don't think we disagree on very many
No.
concepts.
No, that's the whole point of us normalizing these things like being a witch or whatever it is, because it is just how somebody uses energy
Mhm.
and how they work in the world. There's not that much difference that I can see without any name or with a name. I
Yeah,
don't, you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, that's right. And I think there's a lot of there's fewer people who are just straight ahead just witches than
yeah,
there are people who are doing witchy things but incorporating
yes,
or what I would call high magic
yeah,
into what they're doing. That is more what they would term probably metaphysical. I've
right.
always
Or it's
considered
like
metaphysical.
alchemy. The high
Yeah,
magic is alchemy, and you
yeah,
are creating that. And
yeah.
many people do it every day.
Every day. Yeah, yeah. Because I also was fortunate enough to have this blend of seeing, I mean, really Hinduism when I
Mhm,
was quite young. My
mhm.
parents tried to take us to church, and it was just a joke. My dad was a doctor. He was always running out to deliver a baby or, take out a gallbladder or something. So my mom was just like, screw this. I'm just not working that hard. So, church wasn't a big thing for us. Um, I tried when I was married to my husband who is Hindu. We tried to like figure out a church for our kids, so we went around to all these other churches. But my friends when I was growing up were Catholic or Jewish or whatever. My first husband was Jewish, so I was exposed to that. So I've been exposed to so many different things. I didn't study them. I didn't go to college to study them, but I lived a lot of them.
Yeah,
And um, the the ability to see the commonalities is you know I feel honored to have been able to see just how much is in common across most religious pantheons. There's so much more in common than there is different.
Absolutely true. And that is my place in the world, saying we're all the same in this energetic world, learning how to use all this energy. We're doing whatever we do. I don't care what name you call it. We're learning these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I know witches have done it for eons of time.
Yeah.
So, we probably adopted a lot of your things.
Yeah.
And we call them the new agey metaphysical things. Well, no, they've been done for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, TikTok has done wonders for witches, but also kind of put them back in the weird broom closet, because there's so many things on TikTok that you watch them and I'm like, oh, that doesn't mean you're a witch, but whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But who am I to put the label on them or take it off of them? If they want to call themselves witches, that's fine. I personally feel that there's a lot more ethics and devotion that goes along with that, like a devotee of any religious order. And Wicca really isn't a religion. It's more of a lifestyle, I guess, or a philosophy. But the ability to really immerse yourself in that connection to your own spirituality, I think, is just it's beautiful. It is a gift. It's
expansive. It expands who you are. It makes you more, and it connects you to everything. And you feel that connection.
Yeah.
I love that. And there's something so profound about that. I just want to stop and say hi to Gerald of Tarot Stash, who has joined us, and Michelle Marie of Astrological Tarot. Hello. And all of you beautiful people who are here listening and getting some of the cool crone vibe going. We love the cool crone. So, and the cool crone wisdom. So, okay, so you really you're like the whole package, because you're like a working goddess on the earth plane, who has all this knowledge and ability, who is here. And it's just like suddenly and now the world is opening up to receive the information that you have been gathering from the time you were born till now. All of these gifts and abilities are now being called on by the higher beings, by people on the earth, and you're now ready to put it all out there for everyone and be received in a very big way. So if you think along those lines, it looks like Reveal the Future is a huge catalyst to move that energy even further toward this coalescence of understanding and knowledge.
I have great hopes for that show. It's a little fledgling show right now, but I feel like the support that I'm getting from this community is huge. And I didn't have that before. Maybe I was just too new on YouTube, because I really had a lot fewer subscribers when I was trying to do the meditation shows. But and I think that this particular spin on this is right for right now.
Yes.
And anybody can do it. You don't have to have any knowledge. You don't have to have any training to come in and do a visualization. You just have to sit there and listen to me blab through the visualization. And hopefully, because it's not super long, people can do it. Because I know a lot of people with meditations are like, oh God, they're so long.
Let me interrupt and speak to the blab as I blab it.
Yeah.
This woman is very powerful. And when she speaks and says something, you feel it going through your whole body like a vibrational energy, connecting everything, and the visualizations are so tangible. You are there. So, in that way, the power of those of Colleen's meditations are just blow your socks off kind of thing,
Thank
just
you.
so you all know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I think that show's important. I think it's really important.
So, do you visualize or do you envision or visualize something more that you might have coming? Maybe you don't want to unveil it yet, but something grand, even grander for the world stage that you might bring forward.
Um, I just I don't have that right now. Right now, I'm just like I'm happy to be on YouTube. I'm happy that the
Mhm.
shows are finally really getting an audience and getting a
Mhm.
big enough audience that it's going to start to build and make a difference.
Yeah.
Um, and for now, I just want to get there. I'm still working full time, so I
Yeah.
think by the time I get to when I can let go of my
Mhm.
civilian job and just work on the cool crone stuff,
Mhm.
then maybe there'll be some bigger thing that's coming along. But I
I'm getting visions of things. I'm not going to tell you about it now because
okay,
there's
all right.
nothing you can do about it. But
Yeah, because I think Reveal the Future is big. I think some of the other shows that we're doing are getting bigger. Like Polyterology is getting bigger, and I think it's because that people like the combination of humor and
Mhm.
hope that comes
Yeah,
along with looking at the really disgusting things that are going on in our government and politics. I think it just having hope along with humor is really powerful.
I think
Um,
so.
so I think that's going to be good. And I think our other little show that we're going to be doing um, the real psychics of YouTube. I think that's going to be a hoot. But I think it's gonna bring real comfort and serenity to people because
I think so.
those readings are, like no pressure at
Yeah,
all. You just listen to them and
yeah.
you're going to be okay.
I love that. I love that, and I totally agree. So all of you in the audience today, and those who watch in the future, remember to tune in to the real psychics of YouTube because you'll be seeing the trailer
So
when you watch so very soon. So pay attention on the Cool Crone to the shows because it's going to be popped in there and you're going to be blown away.
it is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
So, and I'm so sorry I couldn't. We got off on tangents and I didn't do a very in-depth job of interviewing, but I think we have the essence of who you are by finding out that you really are this person that is here with all these gifts to do all these things.
Trying.
Basically,
I'm trying. I'm trying.
basically that is you. And you even created a situation where you came into a family who had all the gifts and abilities.
Yeah.
So you weren't weird in that family.
No, no. In my family, I was just kind of like the almost the afterthought because I was not expected. They
Mhm.
had closed up shop. They weren't going to have any more kids. And then I was born, and everybody went, "Oh God, it's a girl. She's going to be like the favorite." And now we won't have, as much dessert at the dinner table. I mean, they're a little resentful, but I got along with my older brother who's now passed, but I get along with all my siblings really well, and it was but they did resent that I was the baby, and I seemed to get away with a lot of stuff. My
Well,
dad
you know, the youngest,
my
yeah,
dad and I were really connected. He was pretty awful to all of them, and he really favored me, obviously. But I had my moments with him. But Gonna do. My mom and I were really close. My sister, well, my sister, my sister and I are
Yeah,
close. We do
she's
stuff.
sweet. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she definitely loves you so much. Oh my God.
The feeling's mutual. I mean, I don't think either one of us could have gotten through our lives without the other one. I mean,
Yeah,
good thing we were sisters this time around because we
yeah.
treated
It's
each other a
very
lot.
sweet. It's
Yeah.
very sweet. I have to appreciate that. And your connection is just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and she's your old elder sister, and she
Yeah.
sticks up for you, and she watches over you.
She does. She defends me even now.
Even now,
Even
even
now.
when you're not looking.
And she started doing the stuff on YouTube because she wanted my channel to succeed.
I know. Oh my God, that's
I mean, it's so
and
sweet.
everyone, Cleo the Seer, Cleo the Seer. That's Cleo's channel. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you all know already. Like and subscribe. Go to the Cool Crone and like and subscribe as well. Join the membership. And you can become part of the coven, and there's going to be cool Zoom meetings.
Yes. Yes. We're having our first one this month.
I mean, there's one coming up, and I'll be there because I'm in the coven.
Yep. That's right. That's right. You guys should get in on the ground floor because at some point it'll be too big for my Zoom account. I'll either have to get a bigger Zoom account or I'll have to say, okay, this level I can't have in the meeting or whatever. So, get in on the ground floor.
You definitely wait. And Milda's saying, wait, Cleo and Colleen are sisters. Of course.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, you can tell by how Cleo absolutely adores Colleen. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We are very, very connected.
Yeah, very much so.
She's been my sister my whole life. So
yes, well, that's that familiarity. So
yeah.
So anyway, and I just want to say a thank you to everyone who is here. And I'm sorry I wasn't paying very much attention to the chat. And Sherry's saying she wants to be part of the Cool Crone Coven as well. Or she is.
She is.
She's in. So apparently you have a lot of us who will be there, who will be there on Zoom with you. And let's see what Gentle Genie's Colleen is the real deal. Has the old game and the new game. Definitely Colleen is a powerhouse. I mean,
I can't believe when you say that. That's
of course she's a real deal. I mean, oh my gosh, she's something. You guys have no idea. So, or you are barely scratching the surface of no understanding. So,
well, Val, let's do a part 2.
Are we supposed to do part 2?
Yeah,
because we haven't talked about the rest of the.
Yeah, everything. You have more questions? Let's come back again sometime.
This will have to be the interview part 1, and then there's part 2.
Part 2. Mm-hmm. There we go.
All right. Well, that sounds like a winner. We'll do that. And yeah, absolutely. I would love to. And I'm just reading some of the comments are hilarious.
I know they are hilarious. Yeah.
Michelle says, Cleo reads so much like my husband, Jonathan. I really enjoyed reading with her and watching her intro. Phenomenal psychic. She really is. Oh my God. She's great. She is great. And she really gets things fast too. They come in and she's got it. So anyway, I am so thankful to have had the Cool Crone on. This will be part 1.
Yeah.
Part 2 will come, and I will learn how to interview properly where my guest talks. But she talks about things I like. And so how am I supposed to shut up?
Well, no, you did a great job. And I watched the interview you did with Linda Grendel, and everybody should watch that one on Val's channel. I thought you did a wonderful job interviewing her. I think you did great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And for some reason, the universe keeps putting people in front of me I want to interview, even though I really don't know how to interview. And I'm going, oh, I'd love to talk to this person. Oh, I'd love to. And I'm going, wait a minute, something funny's happening. Anyway, I will have you back on for part 2.
Yay! Yay!
Schedule that, so everybody look forward to that. Go like and subscribe and join the Cool Crone Coven if you want to go to the Zoom meetings with all of us. So
yeah,
I hope to see you there.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure everybody that's watching here is already subscribed to you. Val. Do you also have memberships?
I do have memberships.
Okay,
yeah, I have memberships. You can become a member of Dragonfly Crystals, and I too do Zoom for my members. And if it gets too big, yeah, I'm going to have to do something different. But
that's that'll be a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem.
Yeah.
So thank you all. And thank you, Colleen, for being here. And we'll do this. We'll do part 2. We'll schedule that. So look forward to that.
Excellent.
And thank you all. Love you guys.
Love you. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Okay.